Hey guys, so welcome to the next video for Lauren Page, and I have a guest this time, my very, very good friend, Kaitlin Kostyra. Thank you so much for joining. Hey Kaitlin, how are you?
I'm good. How are you today?
I'm awesome. Thank you so much for being here. Caitlin's a fantastic person to be on the call today because she is a biology grad and she also is working on her education degree, but has had over 12 years of experience as well in leadership and management in the service industry. So a really great person for personal experience, but also from the scientific perspective. So awesome. So Kaitlin, when we're here today talking about getting back to the present moment, from what you've experienced in your life, why is this important?
Being in the present and the here and now is important for a few different reasons. Firstly, I'm the type of person who's always tried to control the outcome of my future. And try is the key word there. Obviously, there's so many things that happen that are completely out of your control. There's so many things that pop up into your life and pop out of your life that change the outcomes. And that's completely okay. But I feel like with all my planning and trying to control my future, I've actually missed a lot of important signs and important moments that could have maybe gotten me to where I am today sooner. The second reason I think it's really important to be in the present is for anyone who has gone through any type of trauma or anyone who is suffering from a loss or having a difficult time. In the losses I've been through in my life, I always find myself not only thinking back to the past, but also mourning the loss of a future, right? So you have this idea in your head of what your future is going to look like, and then someone, whether it's through a breakup or whether someone passes away, someone leaves your life, and that future that you had in mind is no longer there.
Absolutely. No, that's a very good point. And I love and really connect with what you said about control. That's, a hard thing for me as well. I think a lot of us try to predict what is going to happen, but we really, just have to come back to what we have impact on in our current state, which really is kind of just how we react to the situations that come before us. And I think you brought up a really good point about being present. And I think this reminds me of one of my favorite authors, Ekhart Tolle, and specifically the book, The Power of Now, which is really the whole book is about being back in the present moment. And one of my favorite quotes is, "The only thing that is ultimately real about your journey is the step that you're taking at this moment." And that's all that there ever is. So, when you're creating the what ifs about the future or the stories about what has happened in your past, can really cause a lot of struggle in our lives if we're not able to understand that, we really don't have any impact over what's going to happen or what has happened in our lives other than how we handle it from that point forward. I talked a little bit in my video, The Edge, about resilience strategies and how we can use coping mechanisms and techniques to try to bring ourselves back to a present state. But we talked a little bit about a technique that you utilize to try to bring yourself back into the present moment. And it seems like something that people can really take and leverage. So I'd like you to share with the group, and hopefully some of the listeners and watchers can use this.
Absolutely. Yeah. So this is called the 5-4-3-2-1 grounding technique. And some of my friends who have been diagnosed with anxiety have heard about it from their psychologists or their counselors. So lots of people may already know about this, but in case you don't, what it is 5-4-3-2-1. Whenever you feel a moment of anxiety or stress, to ground yourself, take a second and try to find 5 things that you can see and focus on them. 4 things you can touch or feel and focus on that. 3 things you can listen to or that you hear. 2 things you smell and 1 thing you taste. And the idea is by the time you're done going through those things, you will be more grounded and you will be in the present. To give you an example of how this works, 5 things I can see right now are, I can see my tea kettle. I can see my cat on the counter, which she should not be. I will deal with that later. I can see my fridge. I'm in the kitchen in case you haven't noticed. I can see my sweet potatoes that are sitting on the counter ready for dinner tonight. Out the window, I can see the sun and the sky shining down. So those would be 5 things I can see.
Okay. So if let's say we're in a public place or around other people and we find ourselves getting a bit anxious and we want to use this technique, is it important that we say it verbally, or can we, say it in our head or write it down? What do you think?
So I think that this is a very individualized thing. If you're in public, absolutely, in your head is completely fine. If you find comfort or you find it more meaningful to say it out loud or write it down, you can. I think the biggest thing to focus on is that each thing that you're looking for, you don't just say the first 5 things you see. So I wouldn't just say fridge, stove, dishwasher, microwave, coffee machine, right? Like you really look around the room and think about what you're looking for.
Absolutely. Thank you. And so number 4.
So then you would do 4 things you can touch or feel. So I can feel my countertop. It has grains in it and it has some raised parts. It's textured, so I can feel that and I can focus on that. I can feel my hair brushing my cheek every time I move, and I move a lot when I talk, so I can feel that a lot right now. I can feel my warm, fuzzy socks. I'm in Winnipeg, Manitoba, so it's a little cold here, so I have my scratchy, warm socks on. I'm a little cold right now, so I can also feel that. Number 3 is focus on something that you can hear or something that you can listen to. If I be silent right now, I can hear a very loud vehicle driving down my street. They might need to muffler checked. I can hear my dog rustling around on his dog bed. And I can hear some kind of like a white noise thing going on the laptop. So hopefully no one else can hear that, but those are 3 things I can hear. So then I would move on to 2 things I can smell. I can smell my apples on the counter, probably time to use those soon. I can smell my coffee in my coffee cup. It smells delicious. And then the last is something you can taste. So I can taste the coffee in my mouth. And the whole idea is that by the time you've done this, by the time you've gone 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, you are very grounded and very focused on where you are at that moment in that present state.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, even just going through that with you in that exercise, you can kind of see how you're very deliberate, and it's very calming to bring you back to even noticing something like the smell of your apples. That could pull you out of any type of kind of cyclical thought or stress that you're worrying about, and really just see, feel, hear everything going on in your current moment. Thank you. So you have a biology degree. The science side of this is really important as well. So when you're in this moment, when you decided and needed to use this 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 technique, what did you notice about the way that your body was reacting, your thoughts? What biological clues can we all look for that might cue us to use the technique?
Well, it's definitely biology that's happening in your body. We have 10 really complex body systems. We have the nervous system, the cardiovascular system, the respiratory system, the endocrine system. And at least 6 of those are all involved in the production of anxious or fearful symptoms. So the best way that I can describe it would be if you've ever been driving and the person in front of you slams on their brakes and you slam on your brakes as fast as you can and you're like an inch away from hitting them. So think about how you feel in that moment. It's like you're hyper aware of the situation. So biologically speaking, this is going to look like shortness of breath, sweaty palms, your heart's going to be racing, your muscles are going to tense up, and you're going to feel keyed up or on edge. And those are signs of anxiety. People often feel those when they're not in near car crash experiences, right? Some people feel those when they're sitting in their living room.
Right.
Their mind is running wild. I have had those intense moments, and it's at those moments that you really need to ground yourself and be in the present, because if you keep letting your mind run and you keep feeling those symptoms, it's likely that they're going to get worse and those stressors are going to continue.
That is so apparent with the same topic. So much of that will drive our suffering. It'll make us always be looking for something that we don't have instead of sitting and appreciating what we do have or who we're with. And I think about, not being happy in the present. I think a lot of that comes down to kind of the psychological perspective as well of the grass is greener syndrome. And we've all kind of heard that quote, the grass isn't always greener on the other side, but I'm going to actually create a video on that as well. But I will provide the article in the resources section of this video or in a link in my profile.
I think that's really going to help people too. And can I ask you a question now?
Of course. Of course.
I've been loving these videos, and it's been such an amazing thing to be able to watch you grow. And I'm just curious as to what your goal is with these videos. Like, what are the goals with this whole platform?
Yeah, thank you, Kaitlin. Well, I mean, like all of us, I've been on a journey as well. I definitely grew up much more driven by my own self-interest. I didn't really do a lot of self-reflection or self-discovery. Even though I was, very talented, I was extremely insecure and kind of unfulfilled in who I was. That really led to a lot of unhappiness. And I feel luckily through my 20s, I started to develop a mindset and priority towards self-discovery, where I began to understand what it meant to like truly just, love yourself, but also just understand what external impacts can place on my mood, my mindset. And I learned a lot of that through yoga and meditation or books that I read, some great mentors that I've had. But it doesn't always have to be about something kind of spiritual. I think for most people, and where I see these videos becoming extremely valuable is most of us kind of sit in that state where we really don't have time for a lot of self-reflection and self-discovery. And with everything that happens in our lives, the stress just builds up. And I think these videos can kind of help bridge that gap a little bit more to prioritize more of this in order to truly find happiness, to find hopefully success in their life, but also maybe fulfillment in things like love, where they maybe weren't able to peel away all the layers before. And maybe this helps them find the balance between both of those sides. We don't necessarily always have to be super on the ball, but we might have bad days too. Yeah. Super, super important. In any challenge, there's growth, and growth is uncomfortable, but it'll make us better. So I think that's really what I'm looking to do and bring to people. So thanks for asking.
Of course. Well, I've definitely been enjoying them. And I think that at a time like this, where there's so many additional stressors out there and it's easy to get caught up in the news and feel panicked and feel afraid. It's okay to feel that way, but whenever you have a chance to take a step back, do those techniques, realize the things that you're lucky for, the things that you're grateful for, and just be in the moment, I think it's going to help a lot of people.
Absolutely. No, that's a fantastic kind of final takeaway, Kaitlin. So thank you so much for sharing your technique. I hope that everybody finds this useful. Hit us up in the comments of the video on YouTube or Instagram if you have questions for us. I'll make sure Kaitlin, can be available if you have anything specific for her. And also be, linking all the resources to either the YouTube video or to the link in my Instagram profile. Thank you so much, Kaitlin. This has been tremendously helpful for me and hopefully for everybody who watches the video. So I really appreciate you taking the time.
Thanks for having me. This was fun. You're pushing me out of my comfort zone, which is a good thing. So
yeah, a little bit of growth for both of us.
Absolutely.
Great. Awesome. Well, take care. We'll talk to you guys soon.
Bye, everyone.